The dawn of a new age, an age of the new FIFA Club World Championship. Before the glamour, the clamour to get everything, and I mean everything, packed for the trip to South America.
Yeah, we have to take that just in case we get there. That's a nice souvenir for the laundry wall when we come back if we don't use it. I've been chipping away at this for about 5 or 6 weeks, chipping away, and because if you don't, it's too much to pack in with your other games over Christmas and whatever. And you know, like today, the last day, there's always a sting in the tail off the manager. He'll come down and flirt you on. You've always got to be prepared for the unknown. Good morning. Hello. Not bad, son. How's everything over there? Yeah? I know about that. The only thing I want to know of you is, how do you spell it? R-A-C-H-U-B-K-A. Okay, son. Well, I've got 4 lots of training kit for the 23 players, 3 lots of training kit for the staff, then you've got all the physio stuff, medical gear for the doctor. Each player got 3 pair of boots each, some of them have more. I've got 4 sets of match kit, different combinations, the red, the white, black shorts, white shorts, blue shorts. Igloos for the ice to keep the drinks cool. Oh, a multitude of things. And then at the end we've got food and everything. So it's just a mammoth task.
What do you look forward to then, coming home?
Yeah. It's like the old Sonata tongue. It's nice to go travelling, but it's lovely to come home as well.
Up before the crack of dawn, United stars prepare to take flight. Some a little bleary-eyed. Others seasoned travellers. One Paul Rachubka, aged 18, with the squad for the first time. Some people don't need a proof of identity. There are always those willing to take a passport photo if needed. Welcome to Rio. Local fans of flamenco adopted Manchester United, who were to be in the group of their city rivals Vasco da Gama. A deafening reception, but a reception from fans who had Manchester United's best interests at heart. From the cliff to the mountainside, time to acclimatise. A familiar early morning mist and rain. It could almost be Manchester if it wasn't for the scenery.
Touch, 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 touch. Concentration, simple exercise, concentration. One touch, little volleys, right and left, on the toes.
Flamenco's welcome extended to the use of their training ground. The players were keen to show off their Brazilian touches.
How many touches you want?
Calendar that, John. I'll be November.
This is November, yeah. Come to the finish line.
Sadly, Scotland lost out in the qualifiers of the swimming races. Heat 1, Giggs of Wales, Keane of Ireland, Budd of England, Bosnich of Australia.
Coley. So Yorkie to forget about it, come and have a swim. Go on, Yorkie! New favourite, Dwight York, £10. £10, Dwight York. £10 goalie, right up. Go! Ah, please up! Oh no. You haven't got a good start. Hey, you haven't got a good start. You have to buzz in the final. Have to make a knife and short. Buzz in the final.
No, there's one lap. Yeah, 100 quid on me.
One lap, yeah.
How are we going to do it? Ready, set, go, or just go?
Go!
Bosnich diving onto the winner's podium a little too early. The replay ruled out the Australian's gold medal before he could finish the anthem. Relaxing, acclimatising. Well, that's not how it was reported back home. The Brazilian media shed a similar negative light.
It's like Mancha doesn't care much about this championship.
I don't know how you got that impression, because we've said all along, weeks ago, that to come out here, we have to try. When Manchester United take part in any tournament, you have to win. So it's whatever impression you've got is the wrong one.
But it was a holiday for some. Around 700 travelled halfway around the world for the trip of a lifetime.
It's not the same seat. It's the same seat. So there you are.
Great, thank you very much. Yes, thanks a lot. It's cost just over £1,000 for a package. You just booked a package holiday, and I don't think it's that bad. It's £1,000 for a fortnight. 14 nights. Brazil, isn't it? In Brazil, it cost you that to go to Tenerife or somewhere, wouldn't it? So.
It's going to be here in Colchester, wherever, would you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
United in Rio. When do we get that ever again?
It'd be crazy to miss it.
Well, that's it.
A dream for the fans and for the players as well. A first stretch of the legs at the world-renowned Maracanã. Just like Old Trafford going through a programme of improvements. No pussyfooting though, as United prepared for the opening night against Necaxa.
We've had two of the videos watched, and we're basing it solely on the information in that video. So we know the way they play, the system of play, and that's important. We know one or two of the influential players. But, you know, I think the most important thing is establishing what their system is and make sure we express our way of playing.
The Mexican team and their fans were staying in the same hotel as United and sent out a welcoming committee.
Yeah! Sí! Hoy vamos a ganar, ¿ok? Una porra, Una porra. Una, dos, tres. Chiquitibuna, la bim bomba. Chiquitibuna, la bim bomba. A la bio, a la bao, a la bim bomba. Necaxa, Necaxa. Ra, ra, ra.
And so, down to business. The opening fixture was always going to have a very high profile, but the tournament's headline was to be written just before half-time.
There's no doubt that he's... Oh, red! It's a red card for David Beckham. Surely not again. Well, you have to say, on the evidence of that, the Argentine referee is entirely justified. Yet again, a team wonders what might have been achieved with Beckham on the field. The midfielder sent off, ironically, by an Argentine referee, but quite rightly, for an ugly challenge on Milian. United already trailing 1-0 to Montecinos' goal. Both keepers saved second-half penalties. Bosnich and Granaga, Pineda from York. The draw could turn with the equaliser 10 minutes from time, and United keep their campaign alive.
But it was an astonishing game.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere, obviously playing. I think everyone is against us out here, but we expected that. But we've shown a lot of character, obviously a little bit disappointment for Becks. But we dig deep as a team. It's a never say die attitude we have at United, and we show that today.
The way it's happened, it's been as quick as that. He's left the foot in because he's going to protect himself. Don't forget that the left back can flying in with his foot up. So there's that element of protection there. But having seen the video, it certainly looked as if it warranted a red card. As far as myself is concerned, he was 40 yards away from me. I waved my hand at that, and of course, the type he is, he sent me off. But I mean, you should try and accept referees' decisions. But I thought he was particularly poor, to be honest with you. I think everyone's opinion now is, I don't think you'll see him in many big games again.
Thank you. Thank you. We love you.
And some people thought David Beckham's popularity may have suffered. Sadly for David, it was a time for reflection, an opportunity to showcase his talents on the world stage, lost again. Thankfully, the suspension didn't extend to beach football. He missed Vasco da Gama, but he still took on the Brazilians. And he scored.
Right, say the boss is the team captain, that's the time he has. If he gives me the wrong answer, whoever's your team captain has to give me the answer virtually straight away. Right?
Probably our detention's killing me.
Right.
Here's that trump card.
There's general knowledge.
There's a G.
No, it's for freedom. There's
trump card or joker.
First question, your question. How much does Park Lane cost to buy on a Monopoly board?
But hey, hang on, this one, if we get it wrong, they're going to get it right, aren't they? It doesn't matter, we'll walk the other way around as well, but it was. We've got it right, we've got it right, we've got it right. We've got it right, 350.
Yeah.
What was it?
Which annual British sporting event takes place over a course of 4 miles, 374 yards?
Grand National. Grand National. Grand National. Grand National.
Wrong.
So don't dive into it yet. We think it's the boat race.
Correct.
We'll get a bonus if we can name it.
Their will to win knows no bounds.
Hello, how are you doing, my son? I can hear you, but I'm not really making you out well, but I can hear.
Meanwhile, Ireland announces the winner of its Sports Personality of the Year. A live link from Rio to Dublin. No prizes for guessing who the winner is.
So, Roy, on behalf of RTE, please accept this award.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Roy.
Thank you.
I'll hand you over to Roy.
Well, obviously, it goes without saying that it's a fantastic honour, and I'd like to thank everybody that voted for me. Yeah, I'm very confident. I think we're probably facing the toughest match we've got tomorrow against Vasco da Gama. But as you saw last night, we've got the spirit and determination, and hopefully that will be enough to get us through in what will be no doubt about a difficult match. But we fancy our chances, yeah.
Inside the famous old stadium, the heat is on the backroom boys. They thought they'd packed everything, but were forced into investing in some emergency air conditioning at a local hardware store.
Got our own fans in, blowing all the kit away, but that's better than the lads being warm.
Strange changing rooms on your way, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Different people like sitting in different places, but here they've got, for superstitious reasons, but here they've got no choice.
Have you had oxygen masks and changing rooms before?
No. They don't work though.
Don't they?
No. I think they must have had them in there when Pele made his debut.
A more relaxed Albert than the first game when he and his team worked miracles to get the changing room prepared. The van carrying the kit broke down, and Albert's experience as a one-time mechanic saved the driver's blushes.
I jammed the throttle open on the truck with a coat hanger. Yeah, he had to give him a pair of them when we got here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Maracanã Stadium for today's match between Manchester United and Vasco.
Just listen to the noise. We haven't even begun. English, you created soccer, but we teach you how to play it. Oh, that's a bit short from Gary Neville.
Jogada ensaiada, gol do Manchester.
You make two mistakes like that. It's the first time that has ever happened to me. You just feel like, basically, you just feel like being substituted. You feel like getting in the dressing room as quickly as possible, but that's not going to happen. And we got into the dressing room at half time. Obviously, I was disappointed. Like the manager didn't say anything to me. 3 goals was too much, too many to come back from. But we still played well second half and missed 4 or 5 good chances. But the game had gone.
The first half of games have been difficult because the sun's been out in the first half and not in the second. The second half's not been a problem, but we're not using that as an excuse. Players have played all over the world in our team, and we've played in conditions worse than this, so that's not an excuse that we're using.
One of the big problems in this environment is the body overheats, which is why we sweat. Every time we start sweating, it means that there's too much heat being created in the body, and the body's trying to get rid of the heat through sweat. The problem is sweat doesn't evaporate when it's humid, and so the body doesn't lose the heat, so it just tries to sweat even more. So obviously I gave the lads some instruction on what to do, make sure that drinks are available, and advise them to keep drinking regularly. For this training session, I've got about 150 bottles, half litre, so we're talking about 75 litres.
For one training session?
Yeah.
Drink.
Drinks, yeah.
You can drink a bottle, lad.
We weigh them before a training session or a match, and after a training session and a match. So in a match, for example, some of the players might lose 4 kilos, so that's 4 litres, and so that's over half a stone. Sometimes when it's hot and humid and you go from a colder environment to a hot and humid one, you perhaps don't want to eat so much, or you lose your appetite, or you can lose your appetite. So it's very important that the foods are prepared well, and that the usual foods that the lads normally like to eat.
Defeat by Vasco ruined the chances of reaching the final, so at last the players could take in some of the sights. Down at the Copacabana, time to mix with the locals.
Good communication there.
The Vasco fans quick to translate the match reports from the previous night's game. and eager to let the players know their marks out of 10 from the sports writers.
Five. It takes a 5. 5 points.
Meanwhile, the British ambassador invited United to an official reception. England's 2006 World Cup bid high on the agenda. Time for talk, time for diplomacy. FIFA President Sepp Blatter and world great Michel Platini headed an illustrious guest list.
At this time of year, I could tell you in Manchester today it was -1. Delighted to tell you that. But we found it very, very refreshing. The city has been wonderful. It's great to be at the beginning of something. And I think this is the beginning of something big. And hopefully Manchester United will have played its part. Maybe not the result we wanted, but I think we did our best. I was proud of my players. And maybe we will always say we're there at the beginning. And I hope we're here many times again.
This is Afro Reggae. Dennis Irwin and Dwight York joining forces with UNICEF to promote a musical workshop designed to encourage children to attend school. Talented young musicians, naturally gifted, brilliant Brazilian footballers.
The Brazilian, as we know, we all know them for their football and certainly their music. They like the rhythm in everything they do, and it's just great fun for everybody. And the fact that the UNICEF has been doing great work throughout the world, giving these children the opportunity to go to school, the water, clean water, it can only be a good cause.
The one tourist trap nobody misses out on in Rio is the Cristo Redentor, and United's players are no different. Hovering over 2,000 feet above the city, the statue of Christ can be seen from virtually every part of Rio. 30 metres high, completed in 1931, conceived to mark 100 years of Brazilian independence. Illuminated at night, it's a breathtaking sight.
This is the Guanabara Bay, where they first found the city. And that's the bridge between Rio and Niterói. It's all the way.
Frightening. Like it, Mike? Hang gliding?
And again, just that one, just a couple more. And again.
I've seen it.
Okay, come
Photos to grace even a Manchester United player's album.
I love this place.
And everyone must take home at least one souvenir.
There's a girl shouting your name here, Willow.
Willow?
Willow.
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 Aqui você.
Willow.
Açúcar.
No, not me.
Não é?
Do you want it? Willow.
Ah, leva foto.
It's a nice one. I bet she could be your missus.
Yes.
Get your girlfriend a present.
I'll give her mine.
Tuesday the 11th, 6:15, the climax of a never-to-be-forgotten experience for the travelling troupe. One last match, South Melbourne.
We were told so many bad tales before we came, to watch ourselves and not to go here and there, but everyone's been very friendly.
beaches are wonderful, people are friendly, the weather's marvellous, the women are better.
Manchester! Manchester! It's been worth the money. I'd like to have seen us played better. I'd like to have seen us done better. Not even if we hadn't won, but I don't think we've played as well as we could have done.
They probably have suffered in the heat. I mean, on Thursday night it was a struggle just to stand up in here. Never mind running around for 90 minutes or 45 minutes when the sun's on the pitch. And today's even worse. Unbearable heat. People in England probably don't appreciate it watching on BBC, but it's unbearable.
It's the future of football. I mean, Europe's fine, but Europe's expanding all the time. This will be the next thing. I mean, 8 teams now. What's the next one going to be? 10, 12 teams? I don't know. But it's the next big thing, and United have got to be involved in it.
Nicely through to Fortune. That's a lovely finish again from the South African. Oh, he's enjoying himself.
I'm away from my mum and dad now, and my coach Colin Gee, and it's been a dream since a little boy. My favourite player is Pele, and to score 2 goals in the same stadium as he played, it's I can't explain. There's no words to explain it.